Good morning, guys! It's been a long time, so I thought I'd come back and get this channel started up again. So, yay! It's been a long time. A lot has happened since the last time I've posted. So, let's get into it and let's talk about it. Heads up, if my camera tips over, I have a crappy tripod and I have a new one that's being ordered for next time, so hopefully it'll be here by the time I post another video. But yeah, so here we go. Buckle up, because this is going to be a little bit of a longer video talking about it. And excuse my gross hair. I'm going to get my hair chopped off today because it's dead. Yay! So it's been a good day, a good week, and I just woke up not too long ago, so if I'm a little like, let me why. So let's get into this and start talking. So as you can see by the title of this video, I have been put on some medication and stuff, and so I want to talk about it leading up to why I'm on medication and why I had to have some lab work and things like that done. And so to be able to understand it, we have to go clear back to the beginning. So here we go. So I've been married for 3 years. It'll be 4 years in May, so we're about 3.5 years, almost there. And I have wanted to get pregnant since October of 2014. We got married in May of 2014, and I've been wanting to get pregnant since then. But just different reasons and things, we were not quite there, not quite financially ready, not quite emotionally ready, not quite, like, ready in a lot of different ways. There's just a lot of different reasons why we decided to not get pregnant and not start trying until recently. So what's going on is I had the Skyla IUD, and I had that inserted in March of 2014, so 2 months before I got married, and that was what was our method of birth control for 3 years. Well, a little under 3 years, because I finally got my IUD out in January because my OBGYN let me know, because initially when I wanted to get pregnant, we didn't go get it out, and then I waited a year, and then in July of 2015, or it might have been July of 2016, it was one of those two, I think it was 2016, because we waited a long time before I was like, okay, I really want to get pregnant, blah blah, I want to get my IUD out. In July of 2016, I went to my OBGYN saying I want my IUD out, and on the way there, I was just starting to think about it, and my husband was still not quite in that place yet, and which is totally fine. I don't want to get pregnant unless he's ready to have, until he's ready to have a baby, and he was really good. He talked to me down about it, because it's been one of those things. I'm like, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, I wanted it and then I haven't wanted it. And so I was glad that he went with me, because first off, I freak out when it comes to anything of medical procedures, and it's not really a procedure to get your IUD out, but it's still quite intimidating to be like, oh, someone's gonna go and take this and grab this IUD and take it out. And so it was quite daunting of an idea, and I was really nervous, so I was glad he was going anyways. But on the way there we talked, and I just kind of was thinking, well, maybe I won't get it out, and we got there, and I got talking to my OBGYN, and he told me that when you get your Skyla IUD out, it's a hormonal one, it's not a copper one. So when you have hormonal ones, it releases a hormone that prevents ovulation, and so that was the one that I was put on when I went on my birth control. And then there's the copper IUDs, that the copper prevents, it's creates an inhospitable environment for semen, and so that's why when people have a copper IUD, they can get it out and they are fertile, or they're able to start trying to conceive the next few days, they're ready to go. And with a hormonal one, he let me know that it'll take 3 to 6 months for your body to regulate after getting it out. He said he's had people come back at the 3-month mark pregnant, and he's had people come back 6 months later and have been pregnant, and he's also had people that haven't come back pregnant for a while. So, sorry, I keep getting the hiccups, so if I hiccup a lot, I apologize. So when he told me that, I kind of was where we had already kind of thought about waiting a little bit longer. I thought, okay, well, what's going to happen? I am going to get to the point that we're getting closer to wanting to try to conceive, and then I will come and get it out, and then we'll see what my body does after I get my IUD out. Because before I got my IUD put in, I was very, very, very irregular. I would have periods once a year, twice a year, and I would not have, I would discharge every month, which was kind of weird. I would have a significant amount of discharge, but I would never have a period. I would never have that kind of stuff going on. And so when I went to get my IUD, and they were really concerned about that, which I will come back and talk about that in a little bit, but I ended up having to get a biopsy done because of that. So I will come back and talk about that in a minute. But so I've always been nervous that I've had sort of like a polycystic ovarian syndrome type issue, or I've had other type of infertility type issues. So when we've talked about trying to conceive and anything, I've always wanted to have the IUD out for at least 6 months before we're ready to try and conceive, so that I can see what my body's doing. So it wasn't like, okay, let's take it out, and then like, okay, let's get trying, you know, and then get to that point and be like, well, what the heck is going on with my body? Why am I not working properly? Or why is this happening? And different things like that. So that's why I kind of wanted to get it out before. So fast forward, it's January of this year, and we're finally to the point where we feel comfortable with going and getting my IUD taken out. And so on January 20th, I went in with my husband to get my IUD taken out, and it went great. And I took a few little clips back then in January of us, like, not us, because my husband hates to be videotaped. He hates being videotaped, so he will make very few appearances in these videos, I'm sure. But I will insert the clips of me talking about going to get my IUD taken out. I'm kind of awkward in them, and I'm going to be awkward in these videos because I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I will insert those clips right about here. Hi, future baby, wherever you are. Well, I know where you are currently. You know, just chilling out, hanging out, you know, waiting for when it's your turn to come down. It's IUD removal day. I'm super nervous, freaking out a little bit. I'm a little scared because I know it hurts, but it's totally worth it. I'm super excited for what is going to happen next in my life and your dad's life in the next little bit. It'll be interesting to see what happens, and I'm so excited. Like, I regret nothing, and so I just can't wait to meet you. Today's a big day, so yeah, I'm excited. So we're gonna go to the doctor's office, so we'll see how it goes, but love you. Alright, IUD removal is done and over with. It is officially out. That means they said 3 to 6 months before I will probably be able to really tell if I have any issues. So we'll see 3 to 6 months from now what's going on and if we're any closer to baby. So I'm excited. Sorry if there's a lot of background noise. Quinny has gone to a sleep study tonight, and I have to have every fan on so I can't hear the dogs barking in the backyard if they decide to bark at an animal, because I'll obviously think that it is some like wild beast that's gonna break into the house, or a person, you know, and so I have to turn it on and pretend I can't hear it. And I have Duck Dynasty playing right now, so I paused it though so I could do an update. But I feel great. It was such an easy process. I was freaking out. I'm one of those worst case scenario people, as I'm sure you'll get to know. You'll see, especially as your mom, you'll just see that I'm a crazy person that just overthinks everything because I worry about anything that could possibly go wrong. So, you know, it happens. But it was so easy and it was not painful at all. So now I have to just look forward to the 9 months or whatever that will happen after all of this. So, totally worth it though. I'm so excited. So, I'm so glad it went so easily because I was panicking. And he asked me, because I made Quinny hold my hand. Because I was nervous, and I was holding his hand, and I had my eyes covered and everything. I kind of felt like just a little bit of like a tiny cramp, you know? And then he said, "Can you feel it?" And I said, "No." And he's like, "Well, it's out. It's done." So it was easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So now I've like hyped that up into nothing, and I just get to look forward to the brutality of giving birth and all that stuff. But that won't happen for like a year or so at least, probably. So we'll see. But now the tracking and the temping and the ovulating and the ovulation tests and recording and all that stuff is what we have to look forward to now. So it'll be good. Yep. That's the update. Everything's good. I feel great. So, oh yeah, and dieting. I'm gonna lose some more weight. Totally worth it. So, love you. So. Anyway, so we went and got my IUD taken out, like I said, and so we waited 3 to 6 months to see what happens. And so my 3 months, so we have January 20th, and then it would have been February, March, and April. April 20th would have been my 3 months, and then we have May, June, July. July would be my 6-month mark. So between 3 to 6 months is when he said your body would start to regulate. So April comes and goes, nothing happens. There's the 3 months. I'm like, okay, we'll see. This is supposed to be 3 to 6 months. And May comes. And in May, I had a 1-week period, which I was so excited about because, like I said, I never got periods when I was growing up. And I never really, and when I did, they were very, very heavy, very painful, and just not enjoyable at all. Obviously, no one's period is enjoyable. But that's what happened. I got my period in May, and it was a week long, and I was like, oh my gosh, the IUD has reset my uterus. My hormones have come back, and like, they've balanced out. This is great. So I was super excited about that. And so when that happened, we were way excited, and I started taking OPKs to test my ovulation and see how it was going. And things were good. It was, my OPKs, I was not religiously like taking them then, but I never did really catch a peak or a high ovulation. I always had low ovulation. And so May came through and went. June 26th to July 5th, I had a period. And so I was like, okay, those were different days than what I had in May, but here's another period. I'm stoked because I, like I said, never had periods. So to have one come in June and then the beginning of July, I was thrilled about. I was so thrilled to have another period and starting to feel like I was normal. And then in June, I was really taking my OPK seriously and took one every day. I have tried the ones that are just the strips that have the 2 lines on them, and they drive me nuts because I can never tell if they're positive or not. I feel like I will be like, oh, it's positive, and people are like, oh, no, honey, you're just high, it's not a peak one. And I'm like, okay, and then they were always negative. So I started taking the digital OPKs and everything to get a for sure, like, oh, low or a high or a peak. So while I was taking my OPKs in June, I had low OPKs, and I wrote it all down so I can like have it all ready and like perfect information, not perfect, but as good of information as I can. So I started taking my OPKs in the beginning of June, and the end of May I had low OPKs, and finally on June 10th I got a high ovulation test. So I have the one that it's like either the smiley face, or so either it's a blank circle if it's low, a blinking smiley face if it's a high, or a solid smiley face that doesn't blink if it is a peak. And I got a high OPK on June 10th, and I wanted to cry. I wanted to bawl my eyes out because I was so excited. I have never had a high ovulation test before, and that I could see, that I knew was actually a high ovulation test. So having that, I was like, it's finally happening, and I was so excited. So June 10th came, I was high. June 11th came, it was high. June 12th came, it was a high ovulation test. June 13th came, it was a high. And I kept getting high results on my OPKs until June 23rd. Which, after that point, it became really disheartening because I got online and I was reading about digital ovulation tests and what it usually meant if you did not get a peak after a few days of high. And it said that usually if you go over 10 days of high OPKs, you will not ovulate. And that broke my heart because I was so excited and I just was so sad because I was hoping that this was finally it and my body was like regulating itself normally. And the 24th came and I hit a low again and there was no smiley face. And it was to the point after getting so many highs that I was like, either smile and tell me that I am at a peak or just hit a low so I can know that we're back and I can just be normal again. So on the 24th, I got my blank circle, which means that there was a low surge in my estrogen, in my LH. There was no LH surge and it was very low, and so I did not ovulate. And so that day was kind of hard, but it was a relief. And then the 25th came and it was also a low. And then on the 26th, I took an ovulation test and it came back as a peak. And it just so happened I was out of town. I was 3 hours away from my husband, and obviously, I will tell you, we were not at that point ready. We were still waiting to see what my body did. But it just was funny that I happened to be 3 hours away from my husband the day that I got a peak. It was very confusing because I had gone from highs for 2 weeks to a low for 2 days and then to a peak for 2 days. And that was it. That was the end of my high, low, peak, and we went back to lows. And so I'm still a little confused about what happened there. So we're working through to see what's going on there. After that, we had July. So that was all during my period. So after that 27th, as I said, June 26th, my period started. And then what I thought was my period, at least. I'm not sure still if it was a period, or people say that you bleed sometimes when you ovulate, but I'm assuming it was a period because it was over a week long. So June 26th to July 5th, I had a period. And then on July 15th, 16th, and 20th, I spotted, which was very weird. But it was enough, significantly enough, that it wasn't just a little bit of spotting, but it was not quite a full-blown like period bleed either. So that was different and definitely odd. So yeah, those 3 days I spotted, and then that was it. And then in August, on the 3rd, 5th, and 7th of August, I started spotting then too, but it was heavy enough that I swore I was starting my period. I swore I was on my period. It was the 3rd, and then the 5th, and then the 7th, and then it stopped, and I didn't have anything. And then on the 17th, I started spotting and bleeding again. And I had spotted and bleed. I was doing all that from the 17th to the 28th. And so that was really confusing. The 28th came, and then the 29th, I stopped bleeding. And I was like, okay, maybe that was just a random period in the middle of there. And then September 6th came, so 28th, and then the 29th, 30th. So those 2 days, nothing. And then September 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So a week later, I started spotting again, and I had full-blown periods. And ever since the 6th of September, I had been bleeding horrifically scary amounts of blood. It scared me to the point that I was crying multiple times a day because there was so much blood. And my husband was like, you need to call your OB, you need to go to the doctor. And I was just so nervous because I knew exactly what they were going to say. They were going to tell me I needed to go in for blood work and for labs and things like that and to get some testing done. And I do not do needles. Needles are not my friend. I do not like needles. I do not like being poked. I do not like the idea of people taking my blood. I go into panic attacks just thinking about it. So I was like, no, I'm fine. Let me just see what happens here. This will be okay. So, on September 21st, that was last Thursday, I woke up to get ready to go to work and went in to change my tampon out from the middle of the night. and I had massive clots. Well, throughout the period, like the bleeding that I had from September 6th to now, I'd had significantly larger clots. And when I went to take my tampon out the Thursday morning, I had a massive clot, a massive clot that just scared me so bad. And it was big enough that it was forcing my tampon to come out, that my body was trying to reject this clot and get it out of me. And it scared me to the point that I was panicking a little bit, and I was like, okay, just change it, and then we'll get ready for the day, we'll go to work, we'll see how the day goes. And so I got up, got ready, got dressed, and 30 minutes after going to the bathroom and changing my tampon, I had bled through another tampon. And I don't wear just the like light or small tampons because I know how I bleed. Ever since I've ever got my first period, I've worn Super Plus because I bleed that much. Within 30 minutes, I totally bled through a Super Plus absorbent tampon. And so that's when I really started to panic because I was losing a ton of blood than you normally would. And so I called my doctor's office, and I think they were just barely opening because it was around 8 o'clock in the morning. And I got a hold of my OB and I said, this is what's happening. I am very nervous. And he was very good. He said, okay, you're okay, calm down. Okay, we're going to get this taken care of. He reassured me that I was going to be fine. He got a prescription sent over to my pharmacy for me and ordered lab work for the next day. So I stayed home from work that day and took care of myself. I just soaked in the tub for hours and hours because I was so scared. I had sent myself into panic attacks multiple times that day. So I'm so lucky to have such sweet coworkers that allowed me to stay home and allowed me to be able to take care of myself because that was not a day that I could do that. And then the next day I got up. I had to fast for 12 hours beforehand. So I could not go get my blood work done that day. I got up the next day, went in, and my sweet husband went with me to hold my hand because, like I said, I'm terrified of needles and do not do blood work well at all. Last time I got my blood drawn before this, I went into a massive panic attack and started bawling my eyes out like a small child in their laboratory for their work and everything to get my blood out. So they went with me. Luckily, I had this very, very sweet lady who drew my blood, and I explained to her I have panic attacks about this, and she was so good and kept me calm, and so it went very smoothly. I got my blood work done, and now we're just waiting for the results to come back. My OBGYN is supposed to be back in the office today, so we'll see if I can get a call back or if I can hear anything about what's going on. They tested my thyroid, they tested everything. Obviously, you guys can't tell because I'm sitting down, but I am a bigger girl. I am overweight for sure, and I started a diet last Monday. It's my ketogenic diet that I have done before, that I posted about on this channel. In January when I went off my IUD, I was like, okay, I'm going to have whatever I want because I deserve this because my hormones are out of whack, obviously. So we went off the diet and sadly fell off the bandwagon and did not get back on till this last Monday. So there you go. Woo! I just shook the camera really bad. So I went and had that done. So we are just waiting for the results of the test. The medication that my doctor put me on is, it's a really big long name. It is a medroxyprogesterone acetate, or as some people call it, Provera. So I was put on Provera for 10 days. I am currently on, let's see, I have 6 left, so I've been taking it for 4 days now. So we'll see how that goes. We're just waiting. And the waiting game is the hardest part because I have no idea what's going on. He told me that the 10 days, so Provera, what it does, it goes in and just totally cleans it out your system in the uterus and your lady bits, cleans up. And because the doctor told me that I have some very, very weird ovulation going on right now, is what he thinks it is. And so this is going to totally just clean my system out and get me rebooted and ready to go. So we'll see what happens. So day 10 apparently is supposed to be very, and I'm not too concerned about it because I feel like I've been having that already for a month, almost 2 months now. So medication, we'll see how that goes. Just to kind of talk about, like I said, that biopsy that I mentioned that I had in 2014. What I'm hoping this is that I just have a bunch of very, very thick uterine lining, and that it's trying to shed itself and get rid of everything. Because before I got married and was getting ready to go on my birth control before we got married and stuff, I went in and they had concerns about that as well, that I had not been bleeding and I had not had periods. So they decided to induce a period, and I'm pretty sure they gave me the same medication then. So I had a period induced, and that was just a great time. And then they also had an endometrial biopsy done just to make sure, because my uterine lining was so thick, to make sure I didn't have any endometrial, like, cancer type stuff is basically, I don't know what to say, cancer, tumor type, endometrial concerns like that. They were worried that I could have some sort of a endometrial cancer almost because of how much the lining there was. I don't want to say that and then have it be that's not what it is, but the way that it was explained to me, they were very worried that I could have some sort of a problem going on with that. And so they checked to make sure I didn't have any cancer. They checked to make sure I didn't have any weird growths, and it came back good. They had me take those pills and just clean everything out, and that was that. IUD went in, got married, it was great. Yeah, so now we're on this keto diet because we decided that if we can lose weight and everything again and be set and ready to go, we want to start trying for baby Batty, hopefully within the next 2 or 3 months, and we'll see where that can go. I'm really excited. I so wanted my period to regulate and everything so that we could get pregnant. I wanted to get pregnant in August, or I wanted to get pregnant between any time so that I could have a baby in February to May, and that is just my ideal baby time to have a baby, I feel like, especially because I feel so strongly that we have a little girl waiting for us somewhere, and so if I had a little girl between February and May, it would be perfect, and that was what I wanted so badly, so badly. So when all this was going on, and I had no idea what was going on with my body or anything like that, and I did not feel comfortable trying to get pregnant at that point, my heart just broke, because that is what I wanted so badly, was to get pregnant in August. It was June, July, August, I think May to August was my month that I wanted to get pregnant. So it was very hard for me to miss that window, but I know that the timing of when things are supposed to happen or when it's supposed to really happen. So I'm really looking forward to trying and getting ready to try. So we'll see. We may have if we got pregnant in January, our first go around, we could have a little October baby, and anytime after that. So it's crazy to think about, and things happen when it's supposed to happen. So I'm excited to see how things go. It's been hard this week, and it's been hard these last few weeks actually, because several girls that I went to high school with are all coming out announcing that they're pregnant, and they're all pregnant between February and May. And so that's been very hard for me. And then to have all this happen, it's been quite heartbreaking, but it's also been quite eye-opening, and it's also been quite humbling at the same time. And I'm very grateful for the blessings I have because of this journey, and for the ability that, even though it sucks so much not knowing what your body is doing and worrying about it, it's blessed me to come closer to my Heavenly Father, and I am so blessed because of that. And it has been very hard, like I said, and it's caused me to lean on people that I didn't think I would lean on. And I kind of thought I'd isolate myself with this kind of more, but I've definitely opened up, and I'm so blessed for that as well. And I'm grateful, so grateful for my family and for everything they have done for me. And I'm so appreciative of this. I cannot wait to see where this goes next. whether it's up or down, it's going to be an adventure that I am going to go on. Whether it's a good adventure or a bad adventure, it's going to be great. I am so lucky to have my husband and my sidekick with me through it all. I wouldn't want to do it with any other person. And so, we'll see. And thank you for watching this video if you stuck around for this long. It has been quite the adventure telling you my story. So, Provera, 6 more days. I will update this as soon as I get an update on what they think is going on and what will happen next. So, if you want to catch what happens with Provera and what's going to come up next with baby Batty, feel free to please subscribe. I am going to try and be better at making videos and posting them and kind of keeping updating, because I feel like I am going through this so that I can help someone else. So, I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Keep staying strong no matter what. You have so many people that are here to help you. Do not ever forget that you do not have to walk this alone, and you are amazing, you are beautiful, and you are fabulous, and I love you. Enjoy your Monday. It's Monday, new week. So, you got this. Bye.